In this video, we are going to spend time looking carefully and asking questions about these two works of art. These are clay vessels made by Emma Lewis Mitchell and Carmel Lewis Haskaya, two artists from the Acoma Pueblo in New Mexico, who also happen to be sisters. We'll talk a little more about their family connection, but first, let's look at these artworks. Let's begin by looking closely at this small vessel by Emma Lewis Mitchell. I say small because this vessel could really rest in the palm of my hand. It's about the size of a small cereal bowl. We can see right away that the artist has used a simple color palette, white and black. It seems that the black has probably been applied on top of the white. We see thin black lines connecting together to create an image at the center and other delicate lines creating designs around the edges of the pot. The artist has included an animal at the center of this design, and it's an animal that is familiar to us here in Iowa and across the Midwest. It is a deer that we see in profile, meaning in a side view. We see its head with two ears, we see an eye, and a side view of its mouth. We also see the deer's outstretched neck, its rectangular body, and a big fanned out tail. This isn't an exact copy of what a deer looks like in nature. It's a stylized representation, which could have made it hard for us to recognize at first. Emma Lewis chose to make her deer this way in honor of her Puebloan ancestors by borrowing pottery designs that she observed in ancient clay works found in Pueblo communities across New Mexico and in ancient sites such as Chaco Canyon. You're probably wondering why Emma Lewis placed this deer at the center of her design. To answer that question, it would be helpful to look at her sister Carmel Lewis Haskaya's pot, which also features a deer as the main decoration. This pot is similar to the first one that we looked at in many ways. We see a similar color palette, mostly white and black, but this time with a little bit of red. We see that this vessel has a similar shape with a wide circular opening at the top, and then it tapers to a smaller base at the bottom. It's even a similar size and could fit in the palm of my hand. So what differentiates the two pots? Well, it's all about the deer. We can see that Carmel Lewis takes a more naturalistic approach in her painted deer. The deer has a more natural body shape, easily recognizable antlers and ears, and it is still seen from the side in profile, just like Emma Lewis's deer, but it looks closer to what we might see in nature. You're probably focused now on that red arrow that points into the deer's body. Now that's something we didn't see in the other pot. Well, that's a special type of arrow called a heart line. It is a symbol. It reminds us of the deer's life forces and the spiritual connections between animals and humans. It also represents the sacred act of hunting the deer for use in religious ceremonies, especially ceremonies asking the gods for rain. These were especially important ceremonies for the Pueblo peoples because rain is scarce in their ancestral lands. Carmel Lewis chose her design carefully. The heart line actually originated in the Zuni Pueblo, and Carmel's mother, Lucy Lewis, is said to have been the first Acoma potter to use the design after she asked for permission. So Carmel Lewis uses her deer design to reference multiple histories that connect to her mother, her Acoma ancestry, and the wider community of Pueblo cultures. These two sisters grew up making pots together, along with their sister Dolores Lewis Garcia. The family of artists dug their own clay from the sacred Acoma clay pits and took great pride in making their own paints out of natural materials. Though Emma and Carmel Lewis chose different approaches to design, Emma drew from distant history while Carmel looked to more contemporary examples. Both relied on skills, knowledge, and techniques that were well established in the traditions of their family and in the Acoma community. And here are a few questions to consider. What animals are significant to our lives in Iowa? How would you represent them in a work of art? What art or craft traditions does your family have? How do you take part in these traditions? Would you like to make art with your family or on your own? How come?